Hello everybody, and welcome to another video from GD Non-Attorney Pro Se Consultants. I am Greg Doss, and I want to issue this disclaimer, and I want everybody to be clear when I say this. I'm not an attorney. I don't have a license to practice law. I do not practice law. What I've done is study the law and tell people what I've learned and how I've gathered the information, which has come through my experiences. So I'm not going to give any information as advice to apply to your specific case, but more or less as general information regarding the law and lawful principles which I've used and which do belong to the people. So use any information obtained from this video for education or edification only, and the reason that I tell you this is because I want nothing I say to be construed to be legal advice. If you feel you need legal advice, I would highly encourage you to hire a licensed and hopefully competent attorney, and not one of the many bar-associated attorneys that get disbarred annually or who daily have bar complaints filed against them and then be legally advised. With that being said, if you wish to continue watching the video for informational purposes only, please do. And if you want to know more about what I do or what GDNAPSC and the other consultants do, you can go to my website, which is gregdoss.com, or you can just contact me directly, and all my contact information or the information for GDNAPSC is actually on the website. Most people, and mainly men, women come to me from time to time as well, depending on the circumstances. When they first find out that I've had success with child support, they ask me a few questions, and I generally going to ask them a few questions as well. And a couple of them will be something like, are your wages being garnished? Is your license suspended? Were you and the other parent ever married? And essentially, is there a parenting plan? Because these things are important factors that go into the child support process. And after that, it comes the what questions, as in, what happened, what should have happened, and then my question to them is, well, what do you want to do about this? Or they'll say in inverse, this is what happened, is there anything that should have happened, and what can I do about it? And either way, I'm going to try to go over a few of the basics that I found to be successful in my path to what I've done. And you'll see me refer to my notes from time to time because I want to make sure that I don't leave out anything that I plan on putting in this particular video, and it's definitely not for the purposes of deceit or deception, but I don't want to make this process sound like it was extremely easy to get the results, but I do want to encourage those people who are interested in the results to know that you can do this in many cases on your own. As to what happened, generally the other parent, which in most cases has been mom, went to the state for services. Some services of some sort. Heck, we don't even know in many cases what kind of services they went to the state and asked for specifically. The state provided the services, and as an exchange for providing those services, there was some agreement of some sort between the state and the mother. And after the state and the mother came to this agreement, or the state and the father, let's not forget, came to an agreement, they come after the other parent. Now I'll say this, as far as the issue when fathers, custodial fathers or time-sharing, majority time-sharing fathers come after the mother, generally the process has been followed a little bit more clearly than it has been with a lot of the men, that at least in the experiences that I've found. The process has already been established that certain things that should have gone on went on according to policy and procedures. Continuing on, the non-primary custodial parent or non-primary residential caregiver, we'll just say the other parent, got papers in the mail, or the one who essentially got jammed, got papers in the mail either through service, they either got the papers in the mail or they got service of process, either directly or indirectly, sheriff, process server, what have you. And the party receiving this process either responded or they didn't respond. And in that case, if you didn't respond, then you got what's called a default judgment in most cases. And we'll get to the default issues probably in another video, because there's some nuance about default that a lot of people may not know. And again, once I tell it to you, you can actually, if I tell you a duck to pull a truck, all you should ask is, well, which duck do I hook up to pull that truck? Because we're going to show you exactly how to go about learning these processes. But at any rate, if you responded to the service, you got some sort of hearing date. In most cases, some people will say, well, I got a court date. Well, we'll distinguish the difference between court and a hearing a little bit later on, but you can do that actually after hearing this video or watching this video as to what's the difference between a hearing and a court proceeding. Generally, one's going to be administrative to the great sense, and then the other one is the judicial process. At any rate, the state presents the case generally on behalf of the other parent, or an attorney presents the case. Somebody presents their case. Usually the petitioner, the complainant, presents their case, and you, the defendant, which doesn't even sound proper in a family law matter or anything like this, a civil proceeding, you're actually a respondent, or in some senses you're going to potentially defend. But again, that's based upon your fact pattern. And while you're at this hearing or this proceeding, you say something. I guess you said something, and at the end of all this, you get screwed badly for most people. And that brings us to the second what. Well, what should have happened? Well, a lot of things should have happened probably that did not take place. But each of these things involve process and procedure. What process and what procedure is determined by what the actual facts were in your situation. But all involve process, procedure, and all process and procedure are well defined in law. So that brings us to this third what, which is, what do you want to do? And that becomes important, because nobody's gonna, it's like the hustle. They say nobody's gonna hustle your hustle better than you. And nobody's gonna be more concerned about your situation than you are, or than you should be. And there's a saying that goes, you'll never become successful until your assignment becomes your passion. Somebody told me that. It helped me. I keep it in the back of my head at all times, and it'll help you forge ahead. But as to what do you want to do, I'm going to tell you this. For every legal issue, there is a process, well, probably well-defined process. Child support is no different. But to be effective, you must learn the process and the procedures associated with the entirety of the process. This is going to involve aggressive studying of law related to child support, law related to your parental rights, law related to due process. And due process is fundamental, whether it's at the state level or at the federal level, and whether or not there's some intervening federal law that could help you out in your state situation. So essentially, this all boils down to, for everything that you study, you got to find out what's your issues, what are your rules associated, what's the rules associated with your issue, come to a legal analysis so that you could articulate it, and then surmise it through conclusion. Whether you're doing it orally, or you dictate it, or you put it in paper, or pleading, or writing, what have you, at any rate, that's a basic approach to everything that you do. And let's not forget that child support is generally a Title 4D federal program, and which means it's federally funded. Even if it's state run, it's federally funded. States generally create laws that related to, in effect, parental responsibility as it relates to children or what have you. And even if there's an interpersonal relationship, those are generally governed by state law. Now, that's a little bit more something that may require us to go into some civics about this, but we can do that in another video at another time. Or if you want to know some basic places to go to have a better understanding of civics, just hit me up and I'll give that to you. That pretty much concludes this. I'm going to say again, listen, people, I'm not an attorney. I don't have a license to practice law. I don't practice law. I don't even want it to even look like I'm attempting to practice law. But what I want you to know is that you can have success as a pro se litigant, self-represented litigant, whatever floats your boat, sue jurist, whatever you want to call it. Going in there by yourself without the benefit of a hired attorney, which I recommend. And in fact, I even recommend you consulting with attorneys. You can get a lot of information, a lot of potential avenues to travel to learn. I've done it. I do it all the time. But after they tell me, I go about my own diligence and studying. Again, you can go to the website gregdoss.com. You can contact me directly. You get all my contact information there. And if you like what you hear with this video, seeing this video, and you want to support the channel, you can go to my Cash App. You can go to Zelle, my PayPal, or what have you. You can book a consultation. We can discuss your situation. I do readings and other things related to your case, so we can get you hopefully moving in a proper direction and get rid of some. We can get rid of some of the myths involved with what's made the entirety of this child support situation grow into this behemoth that it has over the last, to my knowledge, 30 years. And again, changing your perspective will change your results. We give you the receipts, and it's always important. Sometimes it's not about right or wrong. More important, it's about clarity. You'll never reach resolution unless you're willing to engage in honest dialogue, even if that dialogue is with yourself. Take time to hug the person you love and love the person you hug. On behalf of GDNAPPSC, I'm Greg Doss. I'm saying peace. I'm saying chicken grease, and I'm out.